Hello and welcome to Eye of Gnosis Tarot. My name is Ewan and today we are looking at the Two of Cups, which carries on in our Thoth Tarot series and the Suit of Cups. Now I've done a video on the Eight of Cups which I highly recommend you go back and look at to give further context to this card, as well as the playlist for the Suit of Wands, which gives a lot more context to each number of the Minor Arcana, as I go into a lot more detail with the numerology of each card in that playlist, so I don't have to keep repeating it in each of these videos, though we will see references back to each of those cards in this playlist. Now, if you want to skip straight to the Divinatory Interpretations, there is a timestamp in the description below, but I do highly recommend that you watch the whole video first, at least once, so you understand the symbolism and the description of the card, which gives much greater context to your readings in the future. So without further ado, we'll get into the description of the card. Here we see a pink lotus flower growing out of another lotus flower into this clear blue sky. And we also see that we have water pouring out of this pink lotus flower, and it seems to be rebounding off these two carp-like fish, which are in fact dolphins. Now they don't look like dolphins, but we will describe later on why they are dolphins, and also why they don't look like them. But we see that anyway, that this water that seems to be coming from this great green sea, being drawn up through this lotus, bouncing off the carps and into these two golden chalices. Meanwhile, we see the signs of Venus and the zodiacal sign of Cancer above the scene. In the Ace of Cups, we saw the unity of being, and now in the Two of Cups, we see the realization of that unity, which ironically creates separation. Yet this is not a heartbreak, but a necessary separation that is created in order to seek union again, and this really is the secret of non-dualistic philosophy. Thus, Kether, the number 1, creates Chokmah, the number 2, these are the Sephiroth in the Tree of Life, the dimensions, in order to know and be known. And this is a concept aptly summarized in John 1:1 in the New Testament of the Bible, when it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And a little spoiler here, but that word is, of course, love. And when we say love in this card, we do mean in its broadest and hence highest sense. It is love in its perfect form, or platonic love, whereby consciousness has seen itself in another, and vice versa, and thus yearns to experience itself without the shroud, or sometimes the wall, of the ego, or the intermediary superego. And if you want to know more about those concepts, do go back and look at the 4 and the 6 of Wands videos. The universe is simply not complete enough for subjectivity and choice, and even when they do come into being, see 4 and 5 of Cups, they are ultimately illusionary facets of one consciousness and its one being. In other words, love is the subtle discovery that the two were never separate in the first place, and consciousness purposely and inevitably divides itself to experience itself. And this is a concept expressed by many of the Sufi poets throughout the Middle Ages, and to paraphrase one female Sufi poet from that time, Aisha al-Banouya, I think that's how you pronounce her name, she described this as when God, or rather consciousness, loves its creation, and that creation loves it back, the purpose of creation is fulfilled. And again, this is the secret to non-dualistic philosophy, that the two are one, for one cannot exist without two. And as we will find in the Three of Cups, and have seen in the Three of Wands, you cannot have a 1 and a 2 without a 3. In the Two of Wands, we have the primordial concept of maintenance expressed in Vedic traditions as Vishnu, so please do go look at that card for more. With Shakti, or energy, realised as Lakshmi, which is the maintaining of the maintenance, and this allows one to exist. Now that sounds very complicated, but it's essentially explaining what I was saying, how if there is a 0, then actually there is a thing, so there's a 1. And now we have a thing and a no thing, we actually have 2. So the Two of Cups furthers this relationship by adding the emotional and manifest experience of that eternal and inevitable unity of doing and being. Now do go look at the Ace of Cups for more on the concept of doing and being the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And of course, if we were to look at it in the Vedic traditions, this is of course for every Hindu god we have a Hindu goddess, and the god tends to do the doing and the goddess tends to do the being. So this concept that we're talking about in non-dualism doesn't just exist as it did in the Ace and the Two of Wands, but it is also now felt. So now we're going to get into the quite complex, or should I say heavy, symbolism of this card. So visually, the Two of Cups is a beautiful but simple card, but this is quite misleading. The card is full of soft pastel colours and symmetrical flow, very much in keeping with the demeanour of its Decan rulers, that being Venus and Cancer. And when I say Decan, I mean the Decan wheel, which is essentially the zodiac wheel, but with the tarot cards placed around it, showing where they belong. Now, a little known fact is that Lady Harris is said to have shown her cards when she first painted them, Lady Harris being the artist of the Thoth deck. She's said to have shown these first paintings to a small child on a few occasions, and every time the little girl saw the cards, the paintings, apparently she always chose the Two of Cups as her favourite. The imagery of the lotus flower is a continuation of that in the Ace of Cups. The pink lotus specifically is associated with beauty, enlightenment and divine love across Southeast Asia. And in Egypt it is also a symbol of rebirth, creation and the sun. All these are presented here in the card, with one lotus growing from the other to show how love gives birth to further beauty and literally a higher state of consciousness, that being closer to Kether. The state of pure love allows consciousness to flow and nurture others, that may in turn nurture us, a concept embodied by the clean flow of water flowing from the topmost lotus here and filling the cups below. And we have a similar concept in terms of compassion, in that when we give compassion to others, it allows us to more easily receive compassion, and this in turn makes it easier for us to give ourselves compassion. So it's this eternal flow. The symmetry of this card is a demonstration of the harmony that it represents, and is a feature common within the Suit of Cups. So these strange fish-like dolphins, the reason why they look like fish is they are based off medieval heraldry, and in medieval heraldry the dolphin often looked like these strange copper carp fish. The reason for them being here is that the dolphin is a potent symbol of divinity, harmony, communication, and love throughout the world. In ancient Egypt, the dolphin was associated with the goddess Isis and brought protection, love, and playfulness to people's lives. In a similar fashion, in ancient Greece, the dolphin belonged to Aphrodite, and they were known as Hieros Ichthyos, which means the sacred fish. In Polynesian cultures, we see dolphins as this divine intermediary between the living and the dead. And funnily enough, all the way on the other side of the world, in Britain and Ireland, in Celtic mythology, we see them as beings of wisdom, guidance, and deep understanding that live in the spirit realm of the dead, that being water. Now, when Christianity came along, in Europe we see them later adopting the symbol from these pagan beliefs as a symbol for Christ, inheriting these Celtic and Greek predecessors, and also all the way over in India, in Vedic traditions, they are symbols of Leela, which is Sanskrit for divine play, and also the holy river Ganges, which nourishes India. The 5 streams that we see coming from the cups down here also hint at the subjective love that will later evolve from this divine love, and the inevitable separation to come, and we'll talk about that more in the 5 of Cups video. Now, the reason for this separation is that the one must divide itself again in order to experience itself further, and hence this is why we have all the numbers in existence. So we're talking about a diluted version of love. Thus, we also see from this that love and pain are intrinsically linked, and we will often seek whatever subjective form of love we can to either avoid, cover up, or even sometimes indulge in pain. So, after all that quite heavy symbolism, we're going to go into the divinatory interpretations of the card. The 2 of Cups is perfect love, that which is unconditional, compassionate, self-fulfilling, and generous. It is not codependent, jealous, or even intentional. It simply is, and embodies the mutual experience of consciousness that we all share. When well dignified, the card represents love, harmony, empathy, compassion, and unconditional acceptance. When ill-dignified, it is disillusionment, dissipation, waste, and separation. Ultimately, the 2 of Cups asks us to seek harmony within and without, understanding that we are all different facets of one conscious reality. So that has been the 2 of Cups, one of the more popular Minor Arcana to draw, and is a beautiful card nonetheless. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this and see the next video, which is the 3 of Cups, please do hit that subscribe button below and the bell icon so you don't miss another video. And I hope you are doing well wherever you are in the world, and may peace be upon you. Goodbye.